if you're new here, my name's Louise and I do weekly day off vlogs every Monday, and I do lots of information videos on moving to Canada from the UK. Now today I am doing the most requested video that I have ever had on my channel. Every day I get people messaging me asking me to do a car video. So here it is today. Make sure you get your coffee or your cup of tea ready, because I'm going to take you through from start to finish how to get a car, how to get your license, and what insurance to go down if you're moving to Canada. So I'm splitting it up into 4 sections. The first section is buying a car versus leasing a car and what we decided to do. Section number 2 is going to be what to look for when buying or leasing a car. If you are buying a car for a private dealer, there's a few things that you need to look at over here in Canada that you wouldn't normally think about when you're in the UK. Section number 3 is going to be all about changing your license over, so you cannot drive over here on a UK license. So section number 3 is going to be telling you how to change your license, when to change your license, and also insurance and what insurance route we went down. And then finally, section number 4 is going to be a Q&A. I have asked you guys over on my Instagram some questions that you want me to answer, and I'm going to be answering those. And just to let you know, Jake will be joining me for sections number 3 and 4, just because number 3, he deals with all the insurance, he pays all of that, I have nothing to do with that. And also with the Q&A, it might be good for him to come because there's some questions that I don't really know about. Okay, so section number 1 is buying a car or leasing a car. Now we looked at both options, and to start with, we really wanted to lease a new-ish car, just because we didn't want to buy a car that would break down, we would have to put money into it. So that was the first thing we did, was we went to go and lease a car. We went to loads of different car companies, we shopped around everywhere, and for us it didn't really work. Now we are on an IEC 2-year work and holiday visa, and if you are on that visa, it is extremely hard to get a lease on a car. It's not impossible. We did have a few options given to us, it's just a lot more expensive. One car dealership that we went to that we were going to go with, they offered us a lease for 2 years, but we had to put down a 2,000 Canadian dollar deposit. Now for me, a deposit that big, I don't think it was worth the car. They said you got the deposit back at the end of the 2 years, but if we were leaving the country after that, it would be pointless getting that 2,000 Canadian dollars back and then transferring it back to UK pounds. We'll be losing money. And also we were thinking, if we were putting $2,000 down for as a deposit, we could put that down on a car that we actually want and could have for ourselves. Also remember, when you're leasing a car, you are restricted on your mileage. Now if you're on like a visa like us, where we want to travel the country as well as just live here for 2 years, then that was something that we obviously needed to think about as well, because the mileage is quite low. And since having the car, we're so glad we don't have a restriction on our mileage, because we have already done so many miles on our new car. Just go from Toronto and back, Niagara Falls and back, and I know we're going to be traveling in the next year or so. So definitely remember that there is a mileage limit when you are leasing a car. So maybe that's not the best route to go down if you are someone like us who like to go travel, go see the waterfalls, go see the country, because if you go over that mileage, it's extremely expensive. We did find out that if you're on a longer visa, such as a student visa, which is sometimes 3 to 4 years, you don't need to put down a deposit because you're here for the amount of time the lease is. It's just very unusual to get a lease for 2 years. It's normally 3 years or more on leasing a car, and that's why personally it didn't work for us for lots of reasons. The main one being the really high deposit and the low mileage. They're the 2 reasons why we didn't go ahead with leasing a car. So the other option is buying a car outright. Now this is what we did in the end, because it was better for us. We found a local car dealership called The Car Doctor. I will link it down below if you're in this area. They were amazing. They also said in that week that we got our cars, 2 other English couples went there to get their car. Now he does sell a very old cars, but they're just so good for their money. So we managed to pay about 3,500 Canadian dollars for our car, which would have been stupid to go down the leasing route, because we would have put down 2,000 deposit for something that wasn't going to be ours. So just adding an extra 1,500 Canadian dollars, it gave us our own car with no mileage limit. Of course, it's not as good as a brand new car, but it still works fine. And he said if there was any problems, you can come back to me at any time. So that is the difference between buying a car and leasing a car here in Canada. Just remember, if you are leasing, just to check out the mileage. Also, with buying a car over here, when we went there, you do not get your number plates included in the car. It's not like the UK where you buy a car and you insure your car on your number plate and your car comes with the number plate. You get given a number plate when you get insured in Canada, and that is your number plate forever. So if you decide to sell that car, you need to remember to take your number plates off, put it on your new car that you buy, which is so bizarre and so weird, I know, but it's just something that they do over here, that they want you to have your own number plate and it goes with you with every car that you go to. Another thing also with buying a car, when you buy a car, it just needs to get safety put onto it. And this is similar to an MOT, but an MOT you have to get every single year in the UK. You cannot be on the road if your car hasn't got an MOT. But here in Canada, you just need to get it safetied once, and then you never need to get it safetied ever again. So for example, when we bought the car doctor safetied it for us, which is in other words, MOT'd it for us, and now we never ever need to get a safety on that car again as long as we have it. So it could be on the road now for the next 50 years and it would never ever have to have another safety put on it, which is crazy. You don't need to spend money on an MOT every year, which is just amazing. Okay, section 2 is going to be all about what to look for when you're buying a privately owned car. Now, there were so many things that we didn't even really need to think about in the UK, but over here we do. And one of those is winter tyres versus summer tyres. So if you know, in Canada, their winter is so bad, the snow is so high, and then in the summer it's extremely hot. You may need 2 different types of tyres. Now, there are certain tyres that are made for both the winter and the summer, so that's just something that you're going to have to look into with your car. But there's a lot of cars that have a winter set of tyres and a lot of cars that have a summer set of tyres, and you just swap it over depending on what season it is. We just recently brought some brand new tyres from Walmart that were on an amazing clearance deal, and I believe that they could be used for both winter and summer, so we don't need to worry about changing them halfway through the year. Another thing to look for when buying a car is as if. So a lot of cars are advertised on Facebook or when you're walking around, and it's sold as is. Now, we've been told to try and stay away from those sort of cars, just because if they have got a problem down the line, you can't go back to that seller and complain about it or ask for your money back, because you have brought that car as is. So many times if it says that, there is something wrong with it maybe. It might be cheap to repair, it might not be cheap to repair, but if you've brought a car as is, you cannot go back to that seller and ask for your money back, because you bought it and it stated that at this time of purchase. The third thing to look out for when buying a car over here in Canada is rust. Oh my goodness, I have never ever seen cars like it. If some of these cars were on the road in the UK, they would not be allowed to be driven on the road. Some of the cars, the rust has literally came up to the window. It's that bad. And I come to think it might be because of the weather, like in the snow, if they've been in the snow for the whole of the season and rust has got into it. That's what my theory is. But the rust over here is so bad, and sellers like to hide that. It's so easy to hide rust over here, just paint over it, and then until you get the car and the rust gets worse, that you've noticed it was there to start with. Now, our car does have a slight bit of rust around the wheels. It's nothing horrendous, and it will last us for at least a year, so we're not too bothered about it. But please just go in detail. If you're buying it from a private seller, go around the whole of the edge of the car. Just make sure there's no hidden rust in there, because rust can take over the whole of the car, and I have definitely seen that over here. Rust is one of the worst things in cars over here, and I can't believe some of the cars are allowed to be driven on the road in the way that they are. Like I said, you don't need to get another MOT, so they never get set like safetied once they've been safetied once. So if there's rust going through the whole of the car, that's absolutely fine because no one's going to tell you off for it. Okay, so I have now been joined by Jake. If you don't know who Jake is, if you don't watch any of my vlogs, he is my boyfriend. Yeah, this is Jake.
Hello.
So section number 3 is all about the insurance, changing your license over, and that's why I've got Jake with me, because he did it all the insurance by himself. I'm now going to insert a clip of me getting my English driving license changed over to a Canadian license. Good morning everybody, today is July 14th and today is the day I'm changing my driving license over to a Canadian driving license. I've been waiting so long to do it, but just because of COVID it has been closed. It's recently opened and they're doing it in birthdays. So today and the rest of the week is for anybody whose birthday is in August. You can go there and get your driving license done, driving license information. But here is my UK driving license. My photo was taken, I believe, when I was 16. Does it look like me? I got black hair in this photo. And then I completely forgot that they take my photo today, and I crimped my hair last night, so my photo is going to be hideous. But I can't believe I'm no longer going to have a pink UK license. I am changing it to my Canadian, which is super excited. So I have just come out. The driving centre is there, and we had to queue all the way down here and at the back of the car park. But it is now 9:30, so we have been here for 1 hour and 30 minutes, and it didn't even open until 8:30. So realistically, from when the doors opened, we were only waiting 1 hour, which isn't bad at all. It was so easy. You go in, you explain that you want to change your driving license. They'll ask for your passport, so make sure you take your passport with you. And then they ask you to do a vision test. Now that vision test, you put your eyes, and there's basically 6 numbers you have to read, and then there'll be a flashing light on left and right, and you have to tell them it's on the left side or the right side. Then you get your photo done, and then you just tell them your address, and then you get a temporary driving license, which is valid for 3 months until your one comes through the post. It was $90. I paid on my English bank, and I just checked and it was £52. So that's such a good price to change your license. Your license lasts for 5 years, and yeah, I just wanted to talk you through just what happened, and that's what happened. So as you can see in that video, it was so simple and so straightforward. You literally just have to go to a test centre and they just swap it over. I had to do a vision test where they just tell you to repeat the numbers in front of you, and then they flash lights to the left and right.
So easy. It's
so easy, isn't it? You're in and out. Once you're in there, you're in and out within 10 minutes. Super simple, and it was so cheap. It was like $90?
$91.
$91. And now I'm going to pass it over to Jake for the insurance.
So we've got a 2.1 litre, I think it's 2.1 or 2.2 litre Honda CR-V. It's a 1999 model, 4-wheel drive. And to insure a car here, it's weird, because obviously at home you just go on Go Compare or Confused.com, put in the number plate and you get your quote. Where here you don't, because when you get your car doesn't come with a number plate, so you have to get your insurance quote for a VIN number. And I've done it all online. I was looking at loads of different like quotes and stuff, but the ones I was looking at were just some random names that I've never even heard of, and obviously not being from this country, I was like, are we getting scammed, are we not? So the insurance we went with was with a well-known bank, Canadian bank. So I thought if we go with them, we know it's a good company, we know it's a reliable company. So the bank that we went with was called TD Bank, and that's who we've got our insurance through. Now you give them the VIN number of the car. They don't even ask for your license plate number at this point. So you just give them the VIN number, then obviously tell them all the information. They ask if your car's got winter tyres on from December 1st till March 31st, which our car has all season tyres, so we should be okay. And then we pay $220 a month. Now, to me, that's ridiculously expensive, because in the UK we paid what, £50?
Yeah.
And that's for a BMW. $220 a month for both of us, and that covers us. It's like third party, so I haven't got all the extras because it's an old car. If it got stolen, I wouldn't even claim. But if we had like a nice new car, I'm guessing the insurance would be a bit more. But because it's an old car, we just thought we don't need all the bells and whistles.
But you obviously save from not MOTing it every year, so what you save on MOT kind of makes the insurance a little bit more expensive as well.
Yeah, so you spend $220 a month. It's not that bad because you're not paying for tax each month or annually. You don't pay road tax. You don't pay for an MOT. Now, to me, it blows my mind that you can just get a car safetied and I can have this car for 30 years and never get it safetied again, or never get it road tested or checked. It's mind-boggling. But what you do have to do is, once you've insured your car, you've got your license, then you then go to a thing called Service Ontario. Now, I'm guessing it's different in each province, but this is based on Ontario. You go to Service Ontario with your insurance certificate and the ownership of the car, and then that's when you buy your license plates. So once you've insured the car and then you've got the ownership of the car, you go to Service Ontario, you get your license plates, they'll give you a tag number, it's called a tag, your license plate. And then that license plate, then if you buy another car, you take it off and that will go onto your next car. So that license plate now stays with you forever. Obviously, if you buy another car, you can have 2 or 3 license plates, but at the minute we've only got just the one, because we've only got one car. They give you a sticker that you have to put on the back of your car. Now, on the back of my car at the minute it says September 20, it's in my name. But then every year you have to renew that sticker. So I'm guessing it's like the equivalent of UK's road tax. And I think it's, to what I've been told, I don't know the exact price, to what I've been told, it's about $150 for the year.
And you always have to renew it on your birthday. So my birthday is August, so every August, every year I have to go and change my sticker. And I think you get, don't quote me on this, but I think you get like a week leeway before and afterwards that you can change the sticker.
This is what we've been told.
This is what we've been told. Obviously we haven't gone through it. Jake's birthday is in a few weeks time and we're gonna have to go change the sticker because obviously his birthday is coming up and the car is in his name. So we can tell you some more facts about that nearer to the time. Yeah. So this is Q&A. If you don't follow me over on Instagram, make sure you do. It's louisewarearmstrong. I always link it down in the description because every time I do information videos like this, I ask for your input and your questions. So I asked over my Instagram some questions that you guys have asked, and I'm just going to ask them now. Some of them we probably already answered in the video, but I'm just going to quickly talk through them very quickly. So the first one is, what happens to your British driving license once you get your Canadian license?
So they take your license off you when you get to the test centre, because they issue you with a Canadian, an Ontario license or whatever province you're from. They take it off you, and then if you're to go back home, the lady told me in the test centre that you just go to the DVLA, you send off your Canadian license and they'll send back your UK one, and there's a fee involved, but obviously we don't know how much that fee is.
So yeah, so when you come to Canada, you hand your English license over, which then we believe that they destroy it. Then when you go back to the UK, you've got to hand your Canadian license over and we get an English one back, and I believe that they'll destroy it as well at that end. So you actually can't keep both licenses. You can't have your English license and your Canadian license at once.
You can only have one.
You can only have one. So that is what happens with that. How much does it cost to change your driving license from a UK to Canada one? We've already talked about this. It was about $91 in pounds. Is about
£50.
It's
give or take £55.
Yeah, 50 to 55 pounds, depending on what the exchange rate is, which is actually really, really good. How quickly do you need to change your license over to Canadian license?
Right, now this is actually quite a tricky one. So each province is different. I know some provinces allow 90 days, but Ontario, where we are, you can only use it for 60 days. Now, when I spoke to our insurance company, I couldn't buy a car here and insure it with my UK license. I could only drive rental cars with my UK license. So you got 60 days from the day that you land in the country. Now you think, oh, I might be able to get around that. No, you can't, because I got a speeding ticket in a hire car. So we was out, got pulled over by the police. When I say I was speeding, it wasn't my fault. The signs were not displayed properly, but that's a whole nother story. So I got a speeding ticket and the police officer said to me, you've got only 3 days left on this license. I was like, how does he even know that? So I'm guessing it's linked to our visa somewhere, but yeah, you have to change it. So if you go past your 60 days,
don't drive.
Don't drive. Do not even risk it. It's not worth it. But you can use your English one for 60 days to hire cars.
Yeah, and just make sure you do get it swapped over. It is not worth it. There's police everywhere, and they pull people over all the time. So it's not worth the risk of not getting it swapped over, because they are not very nice to us.
No, they wasn't.
But the one that we pulled us over wasn't very nice or understanding.
That was a completely different story for another day, because he was a very angry man.
Someone's put, how do you get a driving license? So simple. You just look up on Google your local test centre. You literally just rock up at the minute.
Yeah, you just turn up.
Yeah, at the minute they're doing it per birthday. So for example, when I went, they went all the...
It was August, no, July to December.
July to December birthdays could go and get their license.
And then the week after it.
So just double check it on Facebook. It's super simple. You just turn up and you get your license. You don't need to schedule anything. There's no test or anything like this. It's a straight swap. I do recommend though that you go quite early, because all of the test centres, even before the COVID, was so busy, like all the time. So get there for when it opens. Yeah. So the next question is car insurance, where to look for it on websites, etc. Like Jake said, it's completely different to the UK. You can't just go and compare the market.
There might be something like that, but I don't know about it. I tried doing my research and I found some really random companies and random names, and I was like,
you just don't trust it.
Yeah, I just didn't trust it. So I thought, if I knew if I went with a bank, you know it's reliable and you know that your insurance is safe.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend bank. Look into a bank for insurance.
One thing that you'd have to do here as well is so you get your insurance, they'll give you an insurance card. So you get a temporary one as soon as you open the policy via email. And then you'll get in the post a little pink card, and you have to carry that with you. So whenever you're driving your car, you have to carry your ownership papers of the car, you have to carry your insurance card and your driving licence.
At all times.
At all times. So obviously in the UK, you can get pulled over, and sometimes you get a producer and you have to give 14 days to go to the police station or whatever it is. That might have changed now, I don't know. But I know here, you physically have to carry your driving licence, you have to carry your ownership, and you have to carry the pink insurance card that gets sent to you.
Okay, so we've got just 2 questions left. The first one is, how long do you have to be driving to change it over? We just talked about that.
The day you get to Canada, if you really wanted to, you can swap your licence any day you want. You don't have to wait 60 days.
No, yeah, you can swap it straight over, and I would actually recommend that, so you don't have the stress of worrying and counting the days. And the last question is it insurance expensive? And as we said before, yes, it is a lot expensive. Then the UK, I don't know if it will drop over time, just because we're new to the country, and that's something that we'll probably find out over time.
Well, they don't do no claims bonus here. That's one thing I found out. Obviously in the UK, I had about 6 years no claims, so that dropped my insurance drastically. Here, there's no claims. So I'm guessing it's because of the weather here. It's obviously in the winter, it's risky driving in the snow. That could be a factor, I don't know. But insurance is expensive here.
But you save on other money, like
gas.
MOT and gas.
Gas
is so cheap. Okay, so just to end this video, just little things that we thought about throughout the video, like gas. Gas is a lot cheaper over here in Canada, and it's even cheaper in America. So when the border reopens, when we go and visit Buffalo, we'll probably fuel up over there.
It's per gallon.
It's per gallon, so it's so much cheaper, and that's one thing that you're going to save money on as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do have any more questions, instead of Instagramming me, which is absolutely fine, just drop it down in the comment below. So then if I answer it and someone else has the same question as you, then they'll be able to see the answer. But this is a very requested video, so if I did forget lots of things, then I can always do a part 2 along with my video of when I buy my new car. So yeah, we are just about to purchase another car, just because I work very early mornings and Jake is so tired to take me in the morning. So we are going to purchase a second car, and I'm going to vlog it all from start to finish. So any questions I forget and answered in this, then I will answer in that one. But I hope you did really enjoy it. If you're new here, then I would love you to hit subscribe. Also hit like on this video as well. And if you have any other video ideas, then just drop it down in the comments. I'm always looking for new ideas and videos. But I hope everybody is well and safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye! Bye.